easy to do, guys, is the first thing is cut 2 inches of craft wire. Okay, and straighten it out best you can. And we are going to make our loops. So I'm just going to do a simple loop, and I am going to put the end of my wire right there in my plier. I'm going to go ahead and just turn that loop forward until it touches the inside of my wire here. Then I'm going to go over here and do the same thing. Now, it does not matter if your loops are not going the same direction. We're going to fix that in a minute. Okay? And so now this is what I have. I've got my loops turned in on both sides. Now what we're going to do, guys, is you're going to kind of try to find the center, grab whatever item you're going to wrap your horseshoe component around, or your wires to make our horseshoe. And you're going to want to kind of just find like the center the best you can. Okay, and we're just going to go ahead and wrap it around and hug it around this dolly or whatever you're using, right? And just like that. Okay, so I've got it pretty much hugged all the way around. I'm pressing the wire in to make sure that it's shaped. And now that's what I have. Okay, now what I'm going to do is we need to make sure that our loops are facing out. Okay, so all you got to do, guys, is grab your chain nose, put it on top of your loop. We're going to hold our wire, and we're simply going to rotate our plier until that loop faces out. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to put my chain nose over my loop, and I'm just going to rotate my chain nose until my loop is facing out. Okay, and now that is what I have. And feed my beads on the head pin. And we'll just do simple loops, guys. So I'll just trim off a little bit of that wire. And I'll grab my round nose here, go to the edge of my wire, and I'll just roll in my loop until it touches. I'll put my round nose, if I need to straighten my loop in, I can do just that by pivoting it back just like that. Okay? And that's number 1. Number 2, same exact thing. I'm simply going to open the loop on either side here. And we are going to feed the chain on. But we will do it from, right to left or left to right. It's easier to maneuver. So when you pop your loops open, guys, make sure that you're putting your chain nose like this over your loops. Just a little pro tip for you, instead of like this, because then it keeps the shape of your loop. Okay? So I always kind of go like this when I'm opening my loop. So I'm just going to crank it open just like that. And now I'm going to take the 5 links of chain that I have, and I'll feed that link right on that loop, and then I will just reverse that process, put my chain nose over and close my loop, and then double check that my loop there is touching the inside of my horseshoe. You don't want your chain to fall off, so you do want to make sure that's good and closed. Okay? And then we're going to do the same thing over here. We'll go ahead and pop that loop open. And we're going to grab the other side of the chain and get that last link fed right on there, just like that. And reverse the process and close the loop, pressing towards my finger. And making sure that loop is closed. I need to squeeze it a little bit there. Just don't want that coming off. Make sure that's on there. And, you know, again, if our horseshoe component, you know, gets out of shape, we can always fix that. Okay? So now let me pop you right on down to the mat and show you this is what we've got. Okay, so we have our horseshoe with our chain. I'm gonna go ahead and connect our components right on the piece of chain that's hanging on this loop and this last piece of chain that's hanging on that loop. And then we will hang our little leaf right in the center loop. So I'll keep you down on the mat while I'm doing that. And so in order to do that, same thing, guys, is we'll go ahead and just let's crank that loop open on our component we made. And we will feed it right there on that last link. And then we'll close it. Nice and snug there. And we'll repeat the same thing on the other side. And so I've got that last link of chain right there. Just pop my little dangle right on there, and we'll go ahead and rock that loop back into place where he is closed. If we need to turn to the side, just squeeze it a smidge, we can do that, making sure it's good and closed. And now, it's what we have, okay? And now we're just going to put that little jump ring right on top of that leaf bead. And so let's go ahead and open up a 4mm jump ring. And then we are going to go ahead and feed this jump ring right on that center loop. And that would be, or the center link, excuse me. And that would be that guy right there. So that's my center. And then we'll go ahead and pop the little charm right there on the jump ring. And then we'll go ahead and close our jump ring up. And the bottom of our component is done. And in order to finish this, guys, so easy, easy breezy, relaxing on a Friday. What I did, you can really do this anyway, but what I did was I took and just did, you can do a wire wrap loop if you want, you can do anything you want. I just, again, used a flat head head pin, and I'm just gonna do a simple loop, again, the way we just did on our other components. Let's grab our ear wire and go ahead, same thing. Try to open your ear wires with your chain nose facing up and down. This way the loop stays the same shape on your ear wire. So we'll just go ahead and push it open just like that. And then what I'm gonna do is I am going to first feed on my bead, and then I'm gonna feed on our horseshoe component. And then we'll go ahead and close that loop back up. Pressing it in towards my finger, using my finger as kind of my backboard. And I'm gonna turn it to the side, squeeze it just a smidge. I want that to be nice and closed. And there we go. You can use, I usually use 0.5 or 0.6 and then we double it. But these are really large hole beads, although they're very, very light. I've opted to use the 1mm, so we don't need to double it, okay? And by the way, I also have a bunch of little bead caps here. So we'll put some bead caps on. So really, really easy and really fun. So I always go like this in my thumb. I hold the end of my memory wire, and then I basically will go around my wrist. One, and then I half times, okay? When I'm not doubling it, I go around 1.5, okay? And then I'll go ahead and cut it right there. And step 2, when making, did I say memory wire? I meant stretch bracelets, sorry, is we have to pre-stretch. We have to pre-stretch. It's one of the most important points. It's going to help your bracelets to not stretch out and break immaturely prior to their, lifetime of when, because stretch bracelets, when I make them, guys, with my surgeon knots, they last, I'm telling you, years before they need to be redone. Like, I'm talking 5, 6, 7 years. I have some that are probably 7 to 8 years old and still going strong. And let me give you an example and a visual if you're new to my channel, so you know what I'm talking about. Let me just randomly grab some. So, I make tons and tons of stretch bracelets. What I'm talking about with, if you don't pre-stretch, let's use this one since you can see the black, there's black stretch here. If you do not pre-stretch, when you're wearing your bracelets, they will be like this, and you will be able to see your cord through. Or they will stretch out larger than the size of your wrist prematurely. That's the whole reason we pre-stretch. So we don't have any gaps in our beads, and we don't see any cord. That's why we pre-stretch. Okay, very, very, very important. So we pre-stretch, and in order to do that, you saw what I did. You just basically tug on it and run it through your fingers all the way down both sides. And now I'll come back the other way. Same thing. And if you're using large hole beads like me, you do not need a needle. I sometimes will use my beading needles for stretch bracelets, but not necessary on this one because we have nice big holes. So what we'll do is we just go ahead and basically feed them on. Super fun, hence Friday Frolic Fun Day, guys. We'll just go ahead and feed these guys on, and every other one that I put on, I'm going to want to actually do a bead cap. I just remembered. I almost just started whipping them on there. And when I do a bead cap, I think this will go through. Yeah. On every other bead. That'll slow me down a little bit, but that's okay. It's Friday. No need to rush. Just chilling, relaxing with our beads. So I'm just putting these cute little bead caps. Check for size. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put my finger right here near both ends and then go ahead and put it over my wrist. And what you're going to want is your beads to touch. Now mine are with, wherever you want them, and usually it's right below the wrist bone, right? So they're not sloppy. And by the time I tighten that up, I think we need one more bead. So if I'm not pulling on it at all, I have a little bit of space there, as you can see. So I'm gonna go with one more bead, which I do not have in front of me. Let me grab one. Okay. And so what we do, guys, is marry up your ends here, okay? And I'll show you how to do my surgeon's knot if you're new to my channel. I'll give you my little pro tips here. And so what we do is we see that by not pulling it, just letting it lay, that my beads are just about touching, just about, okay? But by the time we tighten this up, this should be perfect, okay? So what we do is, I'm thinking I'm going to pull you down to the mat just in case you're a beginner and you've never seen me do a surgeon's knot before, so I can show you right up close what I'm doing. So you're basically going to take and just do a regular overhand knot, okay? And we're going to go airborne, let gravity get involved here, okay? And then we're going to pull it, but we're not going to pull it very tight, okay? We are going to go under, pull this side this way, this one, oops, overhand knot, pull it. Now we are going to crisscross. So we're going to put this side this direction. Why are you doing that? Okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to crisscross underneath and pull them back to the top. And now we're going to start to pull a little bit more. Okay, and now we're going to go with our 5-knot rule, right? So you're going to do an overhand knot. There's 1 knot right there. And then you are going to take the other side and go over and around under, just like that. And there is your surgeon's knot, triple knot. And then we're going to lift it off the mat so we can let gravity get involved. And we want to stay right in that section. And we're going to go ahead and start to pull it snug now. So every time we're pulling and doing a knot now, we're going to pull it a little bit tighter. We're going to do the same thing, crisscross. So this one goes this way, this side goes underneath the bracelet and comes over this way. We're back to the top. We're going to do a regular overhand knot on this side. And then over here, we'll take this one and go this direction. And there you go. There is your triple knot right there. And then we're going to go ahead and pull. And we'll do that nice and snug. And then we do it one more time. We crisscross them underneath, making sure again that we're always staying in the same space. Okay? So we're just staying in the same space. And so we do an overhand knot here. And then we take the other tail and we put it behind that loop. Pull it to the back. And pull it to the back. Pull that tail there. And then there you see is your triple knot. And we always pull it off the mat to let gravity get involved so that it'll lay in its, natural way. Your knots are good. And then our 5th knot, same thing. We crisscross underneath, bring them back to the top. I'll pull you up. And so we did a regular overhand knot, and then I took the tail on this side and went over and under the loop. So now I have both my tails right here. And there is my surgeon's knot, my triple knot. And I'll pull it. And now I'm going to go ahead and pull it really good. Really nice and snug. That is not going anywhere. It requires no glue. My surgeon's knot, 5-knot rule. And there it is. Now you will take, guys, and you can see how massive that knot is. That's okay. Now make sure when you're cutting, you're gonna want to cut it like around, a centimeter, less than 1/8 of an inch away. Don't cut it too close to your knot, and then we'll force the knot and push it in the bead, or it'll work its way there on its own. So you're gonna want to go ahead and pull your tails like I'm doing here, and then I'm gonna snip that there. And then I'm going to snip this one right there. And there's our huge knot. And then we can simply force it in the bead, just like that. It's gone forever, or it would have automatically worked its way. Also, P.S., as you're wearing your bracelet. Let me fix that. And that's what we have. Cute little bracelet. Cute little stretch bracelet. I think it's so precious. This is so Christmassy too. I just really like it. Looks so adorable. I'll probably have to mess with that a little bit more just to make it lay down straight. But it will. It's just a 24 gauge head pen, so it just needs me to kind of maneuver them a little bit. And so I'll probably just do that. It'll be just fine with my cute little dangle right there. And our set of earrings. And voila, we made a set, a stretch bracelet, and a cute little pair of earrings with our little horseshoe situation. Super festive and cute. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Happy Friday, one and all. To my extended YouTube family, I wish you guys a blessed, amazing weekend as always. And until next video, be blessed.